Hey guys, it's me again, and I am back with another in-between haul. So the last haul was book closeouts, the next haul is book closeouts. This is the everything else. Now I went on a little bit of a shopping spree, but I feel completely justified in this. Basically, my little sister started working at a new store, and just before they did their grand opening, they did a friends and family night. So we kind of got to preview the store, and they have a phenomenal YA section, like just ridiculous. And they're all closeouts, so all of the books that I got, most of them being hardcover, were $2.99 or less, and on top of that, I got my sister's 20% off discount. I think you'll agree that there was no way I could pass these up. There are a couple of other things in the haul as well, but the bulk of it is from that little impromptu shopping spree. I really did not intend to buy all of these books, but all told I spent just over $20 on them, so I really can't fault that at all. So I will get right into it. A Million Suns by Beth Revis. I have Across the Universe, though I have not had a chance to read it yet, so it might be kind of silly to buy the sequel when you haven't even read the first book, but for the price and because of all those reviews, I really couldn't not buy it. I mean, look at that. Who wouldn't want that on their shelves? I had to. Shattered Souls by Mary Lindsay. This was highly on my wish list for last year, for 2011. It was a debut. And I'm not gonna lie, it was completely because of this cover. This is one of my favorite covers of 2011 by a long shot. I absolutely love it. Heard really mixed reviews on this one, so that was why I hadn't bought it up to this point, but I mean, for $2 I couldn't not, you know. Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. This is the first book in the spin-off from the Vampire Academy series. I have all of the Vampire Academy series, but I've only read the first one, but liked it enough that I had no hesitation in buying this. Really fun, really engaging writing style, which I liked. Dragonswood by Janet Lee Carey. I haven't heard a ton about this one, review-wise, so I don't really know whether the general feel is good or bad toward it. I just remember a lot of people posting the cover last year and thinking that it was gorgeous and being caught by the name Dragonswood, so I figured I would try it out. Plus it has that like velvety, buttery cover, and I like that. Wolfsbane and Blood Rose by Andrea Kramer. I have an arc of Nightshade, so it's not going to match these covers, which I just have to give into, even though I really wanted an arc of Wolfsbane because I loved that cover. I was so disappointed when they changed the covers for the series. From something so kind of visually interesting to something that's very kind of standard urban fantasy. Whatever. Anyway, I didn't love Nightshade enough that I felt I had to buy these immediately, but I did really enjoy it, and I thought it was a fun, quick read, just kind of, you know, brain crack type of read, and every now and then you want that, so I figured I would go ahead and pick these up. It is going to drive me nuts that this one's hardcover, this one is small paperback, and the arc is a paperback the size of a hardcover. That's going to drive me nuts too. But it's made up for by the fact that it's deckled edges. I love deckled edges. I know that's ridiculous, but I also know I'm not the only one that gets completely hooked by deckled edges. Fire by Kristen Kishore. I really enjoyed Graceling. I did have some issues with it, but for the most part it was a really good, engaging fantasy with a strong character, which I enjoy. So I had really been looking forward to Fire, and as soon as it came out I got it from my library and was all gung-ho about it, and it just kind of didn't happen. I didn't have time, and so it went back, and it's just been one of those ever since that's been hanging out on my wish list in my eventually to-read pile. I almost didn't see this last night. It was behind some other books, like way at the back, and just as I was walking by I caught it at the right angle to notice that there was another color behind the set of the first books. So I was like, oh wait, there's something else back there. So I pulled it out and I was like, score! Luminous by Dawn Metcalf. This was kind of everywhere towards the end of last year. It was a debut, and I know it did get a little bit of, you know, mixed reviews. I think some people felt it fell a little flat, but I am willing to give it a try, especially since it is a debut, and especially since it was $2. The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I have a lot of Maureen Johnson's books. In fact, I might have all of them, but the only one I've read is Devilish, which I loved. It was fantastic and hilarious. I know this is a departure for what Maureen usually writes, and I know because of that some people were not necessarily pleased with this book. I guess we'll see if it works for me. Either way, I really, really like this cover, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what she does with the story of Jack the Ripper. Is it wrong to say I like Jack the Ripper? Virals by Kathy Reichs. I've never read anything by her, though I know she writes the stories that Bones is based on. This is her first YA, I believe, and supposed to be very sort of sci-fi, slightly dystopian thriller type of thing. And every now and then I just crave that, and I heard some great reviews when this came out. No idea when I will get to it. It's probably a good long while. Until then it will hang out on my overstuffed bookshelves, but it makes me happy knowing it will be there. So that was all of the random shopping spree. 10 books, almost all of them from my wish list, so I really don't feel bad about that little splurge at all. The remaining 3 books are all review copies that were sent to me. The first was a random unsolicited copy, and it is Size 12 and Ready to Rock by Meg Cabot. This is the 4th book of the Heather Wells series. I haven't read any of these, though I'm pretty sure I own the first one, which I think is called Size 12 is Not Fat or something like that. I've heard that they are hilarious, and I've never read anything by Meg Cabot, which is absolutely ridiculous because I own almost everything she's written. It's really kind of disgusting, my bookaholicness. Anyway, if you have read these, let me know if you think that I have to read the first 3 before I tackle this one, because I would just kind of like to jump in here, and I might try regardless, and if it's confusing then I'll give up and eventually go back and read the others, but it sounds cute and I kind of want to read it. The next is Legends of Zita the Spacegirl by Ben Hotkey. If you remember my little impromptu graphic novel week earlier in the year, you'll remember that I loved Zita the Spacegirl, absolutely adored it. I want to say it was the first thing that I read this year and really kicked my year off right. It was so charming, very funny, very interesting story, and it kind of touched on so many things that I loved from my childhood that I felt like Ben and I would get along really well, you know, and sometimes I like when you get that feeling about an author, so I really liked it. So happy when I heard that there was going to be a second one, and of course I had to get my hands on it ASAP. So I'll be reading this one really soon. It doesn't come out until, I believe, September, so sometime closer to the release I will be reviewing it for you. And the last book is not for me, and by the time you're watching this it will already be gone. It's Dead Reckoning by Mercedes Lackey and Rosemary Edgehill. This is Old West zombie take. I had a guest post on the blog from Mercedes and Rosemary about zombies and muffins. I will leave that link below so you can go check it out. And I also had a giveaway of this. So this is the giveaway copy. Bloomsbury went ahead and sent it to me to send it on to the winner. So since the giveaway, by the time you watch this video, will already have run, this will already be making its home with someone, which makes me sad because I really want it to make a home with me, which probably means that sometime in an upcoming book haul you will see this once again. Because one of my biggest buzzwords, or buzz themes I guess, buzz plots, was that I adore when female characters have to dress as male characters to get in the head in the world. It's just one of those storylines that absolutely captures me, and it is one that is made use of in Dead Reckoning. So that alone is enough that I will be buying a copy of this as soon as I find one. But I hope whoever wins it enjoys it. So that is all for me from the 4th book haul of the week of crazy spending, which turned into 2.5 weeks of crazy spending. And there will be no more crazy spending because my money is gone. There's one more book haul coming up from all of that ridiculousness. It is the final book closeouts haul. That will be coming soon, followed by this month's book chat, which if you want to prepare for it and have a little sneak peek, it's going to be about summer reading, so start thinking about your answers for that. Let me know what you think of the books that I got in the comments, and if you've read any of them or want to read any of them. I am going to try to wedge these into my bookshelves, which I don't think is going to happen, so what I'm probably going to do is stack these on the floor next to my bookshelves. I will see you soon, and as always, happy reading!